It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. We are joined in the Tennessee Bonus Hour by our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, the great Tom Pappert. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael.
So this little news story broke on Monday. The Metro Nashville Police Department announced that they'd been working with the TBI and other groups and had arrested 5 men in the Antioch area of Nashville, and had said that these particular individuals were not from America. Tell us some of the details on this.
So they were arrested as the results of a human trafficking warrant that found what police are calling a brothel, complete with a home that was completely redone to have multiple small rooms on the second floor that were being used for the purposes of prostitution. We've heard so far from Don Aaron, the spokesman for Metro Nashville Police Department, these men are believed to be from Venezuela. We've asked whether these men have any known affiliation with Tren de Aragua, who of course TBI says is conducting human trafficking activities throughout Tennessee, but have yet to hear back.
And of course, they are required by state law to determine if anyone they've arrested is an illegal alien. Now, Don Aaron said yesterday he believed they were from Venezuela. Well, obviously, if they're from Venezuela, are they affiliated with the Tren de Aragua gang? Are they illegal aliens? How did they get here in the United States? When did they get here? Has Don provided any additional information to you on that?
No, we've heard nothing of the sort from the Metro Nashville Police Department. Now, the Davidson County Sheriff's Office has a very convenient website that tells you booking information about those currently in the county jails. And all 5 of these men are being held on immigration detainers, which means at least the federal government has a good reason to think that they're illegal immigrants.
Oh, no, we'll get to that here in a bit. That's an important piece of information, Tom. Let me just tell everybody the names of these 5 individuals arrested for running a brothel in the Antioch community of Nashville, Tennessee. Gianfranco, this according to the story at News Channel 5, Gianfranco Augusto Barazarte Morales, age 31. I don't think he's a Yankee from New England. Felix.
I think he's a big fan of the Volunteers, Michael. I don't know what you're talking about here.
Felix Rafael Ortega, age 27. I don't think he's from Iowa. Elmer Humberto Aparicio Castillo. I don't think he's from Michigan. By the way, Aparicio is a Venezuelan name. You remember the great shortstop Luis Aparicio from Venezuela. Here's another name. Edenas Alexander Sanchez Paredes, age 22. I don't think he's from Montana. I can do this all day, by the way. Wilfredo Jose Marte Fornerino. I don't think he's from Missouri, age 37. Okay? So now let's go back to this ICE detainer information. This is new information to me. Tell us how you know there is an ICE detainer on, I guess, all 5 of these guys?
All 5 of them, yes. So fortunately, the Davidson County Sheriff's Office seems to be at least a little bit diligent about reporting this information. And so when you're looking at the criminal charges assigned to an inmate, you get to see right at the top of the screen in Davidson County, this person is ineligible for release. They are being held on a federal immigration detainer. And what this means 9 out of 10 times is that ICE, and we know that Homeland Security was involved in this arrest. They were one of the arresting agencies that engaged in the arrest warrant, or the search warrant rather. We know that that means ICE has essentially said this person needs to be deported. We need to figure out if we can deport this person and how. Do not release this person. Do not assign bail. If you let them out of the jail, we're going to be highly upset with you. We'll be right there.
Now, you mentioned that this was part of the Department of Homeland Security. This is a point of fact of which I was not aware. There is in Tennessee a group called the Department of Homeland Security. I think that's what it's called, a state agency. But there's also the Federal Department of Homeland Security. And you say that this was an operation conducted with the Federal Department of Homeland Security. Is that right?
Correct. It was, and I'm looking away from the camera right now to get the exact name. It is the Homeland Security Investigations branch of the agency. Also involved were the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, which is the chief Tennessee group investigating human trafficking, and the FBI.
Okay, so these 5 guys, are awaiting charges, and the charges, there are a lot of charges. Promoting prosecution, evading arrest. They all ran from the facility, and they were, evading arrest when they were captured. Felony marijuana possession of one guy's charged with possession of something called 2C, which is a mix of cocaine, ecstasy, fentanyl, and other drugs. Yikes, guys! But a lot of criminal activity that's involved in this particular arrest. They are now in a jail in Davidson County. There is an ICE detainer there. Walk us through the process now when somebody's been arrested for a crime, not brought to trial yet, and there is an ICE detainer. What are the steps in the process that they go through?
My understanding is that ICE now has, I believe it's 72 hours, it may be 48 hours, to come and physically pick up these people and transport them to a federal facility. At that point, they will face any federal charges that they may have, which, as you've heard, these are various and severe charges against all 5 of these suspects. But they have their federal charges determined, to go to court, have a verdict, and then they are sent to prison or deported from the United States, depending on the verdict received at trial. So this is pretty good confirmation, again, that these people are illegal immigrants. We don't know beyond all reasonable doubt because we haven't had law enforcement tell us, but ICE thinks so.
So how will this work here in Nashville? Will, in fact, if it's 72 hours, sometime either today, tomorrow, Saturday, ICE agents will show up at the Davidson County Jail, and they'll say, knock, knock, we want these 5 guys, and we want to take them out of your custody, and we want to transport them to a federal jail. How will the Davidson County Sheriff respond to that request?
Well, it seems as though, possibly because the Davidson County Sheriff is responsible to the voters, that the mayor of Nashville, the Metro Nashville Police, and the sheriff all got together and they decided, okay, this will be the one agency that fulfills Tennessee state laws regarding reporting. We know that Metro Nashville, despite the law saying police officers are supposed to ask, hey, are you a citizen, by the way, when arresting people, they don't do that. And instead, they point the finger at the sheriff's department and they say, oh, well, they're responsible for all the arrest information and the booking information. We just drop off warm bodies and let them do the rest. So my understanding and my guess is that the sheriff's office is going to comply with the law and they're going to hand these people over to ICE.
It probably wouldn't be a bad idea if you were to ask the sheriff's department for comment. And then just ask the Department of Homeland Security, hey, are you sending ICE agents over to pick these guys up? And what do you plan on doing with them? I think that would be something that our listeners would love to hear.
Absolutely. And I would look forward to hearing as well, to know exactly what the mechanism is here. And for instance, I'm curious, if there were all these federal involvement, but why were these men not immediately taken into federal custody? Why are they in Davidson County?
That's a very good point. And we'll talk about that more. When we come back, I want to talk about these reporting requirements in the state of Tennessee. Who's complying? Who belatedly complied after our reporting on it? We'll be back with Tom Pappert after this break.
folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just one scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. We are joined on the Zoom Newsmaker line right now by our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, an outstanding journalist, Mr. Tom Pappert. Welcome, Tom.
Thanks for having me back, Michael.
Well, Tom, if you can unravel this peculiar circumstance. Last year, the Tennessee General Assembly passed a bill which was signed into law by Governor Bill Leahy, which required certain kind of reporting about the arrests at the local level of illegal aliens. Can you describe that law to our listeners, please?
Yes, so this is actually one of 2 laws that sort of go together hand in hand. And this law requires every law enforcement agency in the state of Tennessee to report the immigration status of each person arrested. That is, are you an illegal immigrant, sir, as they're placing them in handcuffs. If they are not able to ascertain this information, they're then supposed to report that. The Tennessee District Attorneys General Conference is the entity that's supposed to be getting these reports, and they in turn are tasked with creating an annual report that will go to the governor, the Tennessee General Assembly, and be released to the public each year. So this is all for the purpose of billing the federal government for the cost incurred to Tennessee taxpayer from having all of these illegal immigrants go through the criminal justice system.
And let's just go back to this to explain the Tennessee District Attorney General's Conference. In the state of Tennessee, there are 95 counties. There are 32 District Attorney General regions. And those 32 District Attorneys General They all work together as part of this Tennessee District Attorney General Conference. There's a guy who directs it. It's a pretty big organization. That is the entity which is charged with collecting all this data. Is that correct?
Correct. And so we reached out to them last week. We were very curious about this claim.
Let me just come back to this.
Williamson
I'm sorry to interrupt, Tom, on this, but just for the timeline. The law went into effect July 1st of this year. The law requires the Tennessee District Attorney General Conference to obtain from all 32 of these district attorneys across the state of Tennessee all of this data about how many people arrested or in the criminal process in the state of Tennessee between October 1st and December 31st, how many of them were illegal aliens. They are required to put that information together. Every local law enforcement group is required to tell the Tennessee District Attorney General Conference if they have arrested somebody who is an illegal alien. So that's the background on this. That report is due to the governor and the public by January 31st, which is 22 days from now. So that's the background. So go ahead with the process, then, if you would, please.
So we reached out to the conference because we've been very curious at the Tennessee Star about this claim that 1/3 of all criminal cases in Williamson County, very affluent area, are now involving an illegal immigrant.
And if I could just stop on that again. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be jumping into your storyline here, but to elaborate, Todd Warner, who is a state representative, one of 99, represents Marshall County, parts of Murray, parts of Williamson. He actually represents me. Todd went public with a claim that a judge told him that 1/3 of all criminal activity in Williamson County in 2024 was committed by an illegal alien. That kind of caught a lot of attention. That's a very high number. We reported on his claim. We tried to follow up because it seemed very high to me. I don't know what the number is. But we said, well, what additional evidence do you have? What evidence does the judge have? He didn't provide any information to us on it.
Correct. And so we naturally reached out to the sheriff's office, and then we found out about these laws. Of course, well, they should be tracking this information. Well, we didn't ever hear back from the Williamson County Sheriff, but the Tennessee District Attorney's General Conference did tell us that Williamson County has reported its number of illegal immigrants that are arrested or somehow involved in the criminal justice system, and they've reported all of their data for last year from October through December. But they told us that neither Metro Nashville Police Department nor the Davidson County Sheriff's Office had reported any of their data as of last Friday, leaving the conference, I guess, required to go to court records and sort of clerical documents to ascertain who may and may not be an illegal immigrant within Davidson County.
And what happened after we reported that?
So we reported it either late Sunday, early Monday, and naturally, when we reported it, we reached out to the Davidson County Sheriff's Office and the Metro Nashville Police Department. And Davidson County Sheriff's Department sent something very, very short and pithy, something to the effect of, "We've submitted our report." And so we reached back out to the Tennessee District Attorneys General Conference, who confirmed to us that after they told us Davidson County had yet to submit any of its data, they submitted just their October report so far. So they're still behind.
Oh,
but after the Tennessee Star,
they just did one month?
They just did 1 month.
I didn't know that. So, but they're required by law to do October, November, December. So are they busy kind of trying to track through it after we did the story to say, hey, you're not complying with
I think that's
law?
precisely what's happening, Michael. I think they figured out that somebody was paying attention.
Somebody was paying attention. Now, it's very interesting because Metro Nashville has kind of sort of Don Aaron, the spokesperson, who we've talked to many times, who always responds to us. Sometimes the response is a little obtuse, shall we say, but nonetheless he always responds, which we really appreciate that of Don doing that. But he said what was his answer to you about this? Because Metro Nashville Police, so they do the arresting, but the holding in jail is done by the Davidson County Sheriff. What exactly did he say about this?
Now, without it right in front of me, Don Aaron first said, well, our police officers ask for the place of birth for every person who is put into handcuffs. And so we respond back, well, place of birth doesn't really tell us if it's an illegal immigrant, which is what the law says you're supposed to figure out. So do you ask them about their citizenship? And Don Aaron says in response, Metro Nashville Police Department says in response, well, we drop them off at Davidson County Sheriff's Office when we go to jail, and they do all of that. They do the fingerprinting and ask all the questions. All we do is drop them off. So it seems to me that Mayor Freddie O'Connell and the Metro Nashville Police Department have crafted a policy that allows them to look very good on paper to their far left radical Democrat base, while essentially outsourcing the complying with these laws to the sheriff's office.
Well, the other part about that is, it seems to me, as I read the law, they are required, even though they don't house them in jail, the Metro Nashville Police Department would in fact be required to ascertain whether they're illegal. That's what the law says. It doesn't say every law enforcement agency except Metro Nashville Police Department, right?
Right. Or unless you can get somebody else to do the job for you, which is what seems to be their caveat here. Now, I did ask the Tennessee District Attorney's General Conference, so is this data from Davidson County Sheriff's Office, is that sufficient for the purposes of your report? And they said that it was. But
good.
I'm of the personal opinion Metro Nashville Police Department shouldn't get out of this.
January 31st, the statewide report is going to be released. I am eager to see what those results are. I have no idea what the number will be, what it'll show. My guess is it'll show a certain number are illegal, a certain number are unknown, and a certain number are legal. That's my guess. I would be surprised if it confirms the claims made by Todd Warner that 1/3 of all the criminal activity in Williamson County last year was perpetrated by illegal aliens. But we'll find out, right? We'll find out on January 31st.
We will indeed. And I find it the most interesting unanswered question, I should say, I think is going to be the expense. So say maybe 10% of criminal cases in Williamson County are illegal immigrants. Does that constitute 1/3 of the total expense to Williamson County and Tennessee taxpayers? Are illegal immigrants, in other words, costing an outsized amount of money to prosecute?
Yeah, very interesting. And of course, the other element of it, whatever that number is, shouldn't any illegal alien who's been arrested for a crime be deported, or do they have to be convicted of a crime to be deported? Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
My understanding is that they want a conviction first, at which point they would serve the conviction in an American jail before being deported from the country at the end of the sentence. I'm not so sure that's the best formula, but it is what they tend to do.
So the other part of that is, let's say an illegal alien commits a crime in the United States, and they're deported immediately, even either after being convicted or even before trial. You know, under the Biden administration, you know what they would have done? They would have trekked right back up and come into the United States through Eagle Pass or wherever, and would have committed more crimes. I think the Trump administration is going to be a little bit different. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert, as we close this part of the interview out?
I think so. I think we've already seen, I was listening to some of the earlier show. It sounds like Tom Homan has his work cut out for him, but he's not going to be daunted by the challenge. I mean, Trump is surrounding himself with very serious people who are not going to bat an eyelash and are not going to back down when the Democrats cry and we see the sad images on TV. This is an absolute crisis, and these are the people who are going to fix it.
Tom Pappert, thanks for joining us today. Great work.
Thank you, Michael. I'll be back anytime.
All right, sounds great. Up next, Michael Lotfy with Tennessee's American for Prosperity. What is their agenda? We'll find out soon. Pizza Company takes this special time to salute the Franklin men and women in uniform who've answered the call for our freedom. Let's give them the hero's welcome they deserve as they fought hard to restore peace around the world. American troops are our angels of protection, so stand up and salute them proudly. This message is courtesy of our good friends at Nashville Pizza Company, 2176 Hillsborough Road in Franklin. They're always working to keep our community moving in a positive direction. I want to say a few words about our friends at the Nashville Pizza Company, 2176 Hillsborough Road. The Nashville Pizza Company in Franklin reminds us that the current economic times have been tough on many families in our area, and many are finding it hard to make ends meet. Your donations of clothing or canned goods can make a difference for a family in need. During this holiday season, give from the heart so others can have a new start. That's courtesy of our friends at Nashville Pizza Company, 2176 Hillsborough Road in Franklin. They are always working to keep our community moving in a positive direction.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Hey there,
Impersonator not endorsed by
founder
Donald
and
Trump.
CEO of the Glock Store. As a proud sponsor of this show, you may have heard Michael Patrick Leahy mention us a few times over the past 4 years. But today, it's me on the radio telling you how pleased we are to be associated with Michael Patrick Leahy and his dedication to the highest levels of professional journalism. Michael Patrick Leahy has been threatened with jail time in bringing the true facts about that Nashville Covenant shooting to his listening audience. Michael Patrick Leahy, you keep doing what you're doing, and we here at the Glock Store will keep sponsoring your show for the good of Nashville and the entire country. And I'm personally inviting all of your listeners to come visit and shoot at the Glock Store. It's where Michael Patrick Leahy learned to shoot a gun for the first time and where he bought his own personal Glock 19. I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of the Glock Store here in Nashville, just minutes from the airports, worth the drive from anywhere, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy and the Tennessee Star Report.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. We are delighted to welcome to our newsmaker line a very good friend, Michael Lotfi, with Americans for Prosperity Tennessee, the state director. Michael, welcome.
Thank you, Michael. How are you?
I understand you've just come out of a very important meeting. A little birdie told me that.
Did they? Man, you shouldn't call people out on the spot like that, Michael.
All I'm saying is...
Yeah, so, well...
important. You don't have to tell us the details.
We met with some very important stakeholders, I can say that much, up at the Capitol. And, it seems like we're in a great position to get school choice done this year and finally return power back to parents and away from the bureaucrats who think that they know what's best for parents and their children when it comes to their education and what they're taught, how they're taught. And it looks like we may finally get a pretty big paradigm shift to where finally parents can actually take back control of their tax dollars and decide what their kids learn and how they're taught, and get school choice done in the state of Tennessee on a much bigger level than it's been done in the past.
Yeah, I think everyone who is a true conservative in the state of Tennessee is rooting for that. I think the prospects look much better this time. There are a couple of possibilities there, either a special session or the first bill to be addressed when the Tennessee General Assembly convenes in full. Do you have any insights for us as to whether or not we can anticipate a special session?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said true conservatives, right? Because I see a lot of detractors out there who just want to hear themselves talk, and they're against school choice for a variety of silly reasons. But to me, it's like you really want to be on the other side of one of the biggest issues that's being discussed by President Trump, by J.D. Vance, by U.S. Senator Blackburn, by Glenn Jacobs, by Governor Lee, by every other conservative leader in the state and nation supports school choice, every single one of them. And I don't know how wise it is, especially for some elected officials or Republicans, to be on the other side of this issue. But to your question about a special session or first bill during the general session, yeah, I believe that the way it's looking right now, I feel relatively confident. I mean, things can always change, right? But I feel like we'll probably see a special session the week of the 27th of this month.
Probably. And by the way, let me just say this, Michael. What you just said is something that I've heard from multiple sources. Nothing firm on it yet, but that we will probably see a special session the week of the 27th. And will that be, my sense is, it will be focused just on universal school choice. That's what I'm hearing.
I don't think so, actually. I think that it's going to be called for a couple of different things. As folks may or may not be aware, when you pass a bill during the general session, it takes a lot longer to get done, may not go into effect for several months, even up to a year. And so what is being discussed right now, my understanding is that there may be a special session called on the 27th, once everybody gets home from the inauguration, because obviously a lot of folks are going to the inauguration, for school choice. And I believe that you'll see hurricane relief in there as well, so that we can get those folks some financial assistance sooner rather than later. And I think those two things will be called for, is what we'll see a special session called for. There's some murmuring about something else being thrown in there, maybe not. But those two things I'm relatively certain of that will be involved in a special session.
So you broke some news with us. I do think that there will be a lot of support for hurricane relief, particularly since under the Biden administration, the federal government has not had its finest hours dealing with the hurricane and the floods.
I think one reason, absolutely, you hit the nail on the head, Michael, and I think one reason why it wasn't done sooner than later is because I think that the state was expecting and hoping to see a lot more out of the federal response, and that probably didn't materialize in the way that they were expecting, and so it looks like that's probably going to be included in a special session as well.
So I'm hearing politically that it's looking real good in the state Senate. And it's looking good in the House as well, although there are maybe 10 or so rural Republican legislators who are, shall we put, in the category of persuadable. Your thoughts on that?
So I don't think we have any problems in the Senate whatsoever, and honestly, I don't think we have any problems in the House either. Now, in the Senate, I'm certain. I'm absolutely certain the votes are there, no issues whatsoever. In the House, Michael, I've got it. I've got the votes. Now things are subject to change. They're certainly subject to change. And as you said, the rural lawmakers. I think we settled this debate back in November. Americans for Prosperity's American for Prosperity's Action, their PAC. Really went in hard against anybody who came out and challenged a member who was a pro-school choice member, the TEA, the teachers union, who wants to keep kids trapped in these failing schools. They recruited several candidates across the state, and they absolutely
were defeated. And I think, have we lost your audio here, Michael? Indeed, I think you're back, right? Oh, we lost Michael. Well, they got defeated, and I think you've got the.
Are you there?
Oh, there you are. You have reappeared.
Sorry about that. What was the last thing you heard me say?
That the opponents to school choice, where they had a challenge in the primaries, didn't do so well.
Yes. So Americans for Prosperity, their PAC, spent a ton of money PAC spent a ton of money getting, setting the stage to make sure rural lawmakers knew that, first and foremost, if you have a challenger and you're a policy champion, you believe in school choice, you believe in our other issues, then we're going to defend you to the death. And the teachers union came out and they found a bunch of people to run against some of our pro-school choice lawmakers, and they got destroyed. We destroyed every single one of them. And, I don't know what more it takes for some of these rural lawmakers to understand that, first and foremost, the polling is irrefutable. Parents want this.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Beacon Center poll was like 67% of Tennesseans want
Michael,
it.
Beacon and AFP, we have both done polling, not only statewide polling, but also granular polling on the district level for Senate and House districts across the state. And some of these members will tell us, "Oh, I need to see numbers. Show me the numbers," and then we show them the numbers, and they say, "Well, I don't know. The bill doesn't do this," and then we go and we fix the bill, and now it does do that, and they still have excuses. And here's my message, right? My message is at the end of the day, look, guys, if you want to be against school choice, you want to be against President Trump's agenda, you want to be against Governor Lee's agenda, you want to be against Marsha Blackburn's agenda, you want to be against the agenda of J.D. Vance, AFP, every other conservative organization, ALEC, all of the Republican Party platform itself says that we believe in school choice. If you want to be against all of those organizations and individuals, okay, fine.
I have a theory on this. Would you like to?
The consequences, I guess.
I have a theory on it. Would you like to hear the theory?
Give it to me.
It is a remnant of the good old boy Democrat monopoly in rural areas.
It is. Yep.
That's what I think it is. Remember, way back when, I think maybe 25 years ago, the school superintendents in each county were elected, so it was a political deal, right?
It was. You're correct. Yes.
And that it really wasn't until 13 years ago that Republicans controlled the state legislature. It's been Democrat for like 100 years before that, and so the good old boys don't want any competition to the local schools, which results, as you know, when there's no competition, people get lax and they don't do as well as they should. And so I think
what's the most frustrating, Michael, is I hear from rural lawmakers all the time, like, "Oh, that stuff doesn't happen in our schools. That happens in Nashville or Memphis. Like that doesn't happen in my schools." I can send you 15 different articles where first and foremost, public schools are failing horrifically when it comes to meeting expectations and standards on testing. But if we don't want to even talk about testing, right? Like, look at the culture. There's public schools all across the state right now that are firing their superintendents, that are under investigation for their teachers and coaches and, doing horrific acts against children. I just saw a new article out of Blount County. I've seen articles out of Warren and White County. And I've got those lawmakers are on the edge right now about whether or not they're going to allow parents and students a way out of those schools, where the teachers are literally under investigation for sexual harassment against 12-year-olds.
I think you're going to see, and we're interested in talking to kind of those rural legislators who are on the fence. We're going to have them in the program, talk a little bit, not in a try to understand why they might object to it. It's a no-brainer in my view. Let's turn the page a little bit here, Michael. It is not your only agenda for Americans for Prosperity in Tennessee in this legislative session. Tell us what else is on your agenda.
Yeah, so another thing we're working on this year in coordination with the Tennessee Farm Bureau and Beacon Center as well. The three of us kind of teamed up on this, and Farm Bureau has been great. They've been, really pulling a lot of weight on this to get this done, and Beacon as well. And so we're all coming together, and we're trying to get a constitutional amendment passed. We got it passed once, so the way it works is you have to get it passed twice out of the General Assembly, and then once it passes twice, it can actually go onto the ballot. So our expectation is that we're going to be able to pass it again this year, and it should be on the 2026 ballot. And basically, this constitutional amendment, what it will do is it will prevent the state of Tennessee from ever having a statewide property tax. Now, a lot of folks, sometimes folks get confused on this, and I want to be very clear what this means. So in certain states like Missouri, California, so on, you have not only your local tax, your local property tax from the county and city, but you also have a state property tax. And so, interesting fact is that Tennessee's used to be a lot higher than it ever was. Now it's just set at 0. We still technically have a state property tax. A lot of people don't know that. It's just set at 0. And so what we are trying to do is put it on the ballot to do a constitutional amendment, just like we did with the income tax, to where we can never have a statewide property tax in Tennessee. And what's really interesting about these conversations that we're having with members is we're getting kickback from some members that say, oh, well, it's set at 0 now. Why do we don't need that? It's, we don't need to do a constitutional amendment on this. It's at 0. And it's like, well, if it's at 0 and you always intended to keep it at 0, then let's go ahead and constitutionally ban it, And so by the pure fact that we're getting kickback already, and that we have gotten kickback from certain members and obviously the Democrats as well, from trying to do a statewide ban on property tax, that tells you right there everything you need to know.
It's a clue.
They want to keep that. Yeah, they want to keep it open so that
just in case
in the future if they want to. Right.
Michael Lotfi, the State Director for Americans for Prosperity, Tennessee. Thanks so much for joining us. Great information, and keep up the great work.
Yeah, brother. You too. Thanks. Have a good day.
All right. There we go. Michael Lotfi with Americans for Prosperity. An excellent report. A little bit of breaking news there. Well, I like that. All right. When we come back, it'll be that time of day again. It'll be time for News Potpourri. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. This is the Michael Patrick Leahy Show.
Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are indeed broadcasting live from our studios in downtown Nashville, just a stone's throw from the Tennessee State Capitol, where the state legislatures will be convening next week. It's that time of day again here, folks. It is time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program where we talk about those stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, but have a touch of irony. Okay, couple things here to talk about. First, I'll talk about a little bit of sports. Bill Belichick just shocked the sports world by signing a 5-year, $5 million a year contract to become the head coach in college at the University of North Carolina, the Tar Heels, where his dad was a coach when he was like a 1-year-old, 2-year-old kid. And I think it's interesting to see what's happened now is in the NFL, they have fired a number of head coaches. And one of the head coaches fired was Antonio Pierce, the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. They were 4-13 this year. Do you know who one of the part-time minority owners of the Raiders is? Tom Brady. Tom Brady gave, and Tom Brady is in charge of the search committee to find the new head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. He called up his buddy, Bill Belichick. Well, don't think it's going to happen. I think Belichick's going to stay in North Carolina, at least for a while, in part because the 5-year contract that he signed with North Carolina has a $10 million penalty if he leaves to go elsewhere anytime prior to June the 1st of 2025. So we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. The fires in Los Angeles, we have a developing theme here. And when we get to, if you listen to the program, you know our good friend Crom Carmichael has made as a key point when he discusses policy is that the rise of public employee unions since 1960 has really destroyed the ability of people to get things done, of government to get things done. What's interesting about that is if you look at federal state employees, it applies, state employees, it applies, also local employees. And you're not going to believe this, but I have a list here that Open the Books just gave us of how the 10 highest paid employees of the city of Los Angeles. Mark Chambers, who is called a load dispatcher for the Department of Water. Last year, he made a base salary of $293,000. He had $334,000 in overtime, $229,000 in other pay. I wonder what that other is. His total compensation, according to Open the Books, $857,000. Okay, he's the load dispatcher at the Department of Water and Power. He had no water to dispatch during these fires. So he made $857,000. John Getchus, who is a fire captain 2, whatever that means, base salary, $176,000. Overtime, wait for it, $613,000. Other, $10,000. Total compensation, $801,000. The woman who was appointed back in May to run the Department of Water and Power makes $750,000. You go down through the list here. All of the people I'm going to tell you now make between $600,000 and $780,000. Gary Caravo, according to Open the Books, Electric Services Manager, Department of Water and Power. William Santana, elected Distribution Mechanic, Department of Water and Power. Jason Contreras, Senior Electric Repair Supervisor, Department of Water and Power. Gregory Martin, Electric Distribution Mechanic Supervisor, Department of Water and Power. Andrew Martin, IV Electric Station Operator. I don't know what that means. Department of Water and Power. John Dwyer, Chief Port Pilot, Port of Los Angeles. And Brad Weller, Labor Supervisor at the Department of Water and Power in Los Angeles. They all make over $600,000. I mean, did we go into the wrong business, Patrick? Or I'm looking at my producer here, Patrick, and he is astonished. So this all confirms everything that Crom Carmichael has talked about. What are the local and state and federal employees unions, what are they about? Are they about serving the public, or are they about getting as much money as possible into the employee union members' pockets and doing nothing else? This overtime thing is crazy. They make 3 times as much money, most of these guys that we've talked about just now, in overtime. How does that happen? I mean, how many hours of overtime do you work? What is this, 40 hours a week? I mean, Patrick and I work overtime all the time, right? But we don't charge for overtime because this is a small business. This is entrepreneurial. And the deal is, get the job done. What does it take to get the job done? That's what this all ought to be. Anyways, we went long on that, but I think it's pretty good. Oh, one last thing. Marjorie Taylor Greene has introduced a bill into Congress to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to, wait for it, the Gulf of America. The Trump doctrine at work. I love it. Hey, I hope you have a great day. Be careful for the weather here in Nashville. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. I hope you have a great day. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Go to TennesseeStar.com and read all of our stories.
Governor Bill Lee, and I want to talk to you about an important education bill in Tennessee. Everyone knows that education has the power to change the trajectory of a child's life forever. And anyone who's raised a child knows that each one's different in their educational needs, and their learning styles, and their talents. The fact is, parents know their own children best. They know what's best for their education and their future. That's why I'm here to talk to you about Tennessee's Education Freedom Act. It empowers parents across our state to use their tax dollars to choose the school that allows their child to thrive, regardless of zip code or income, all while making significant investments in Tennessee's public education. If you want to learn how you can help make the Education Freedom Act a reality in Tennessee, go to educationfreedomact.com and write or call your state representatives. It's educationfreedomact.com.
This ad is
The
paid
Chief
for by
Team
Job
reminds
Creators
listeners
Network.
here that more and more veterans will be returning home over the next few years, and many are local. These heroes have elite military training and valuable professional skills, but they also need jobs too. That's why the Chief Team is encouraging all local businesses. Let's make it the year we hire smart and hire veterans. That's from the Chief Team, where they say service isn't just a courtesy, it's a commitment. For more information, call 931-444-3572. That's 931-444-3572 for the Chief Team in Clarksville.
The Black preaching tradition is deeply connected to gospel music.
PBS presents a new series hosted by Henry Louis Gates Jr., Gospel.
Our singers preach and our preachers sing.
Gospel is a prayer. It is our heart's cry to God in lyrics and song.
You feel it deep down in your soul.
Gospel. Streaming now on the PBS app.